I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words.
I have a dream.
I got a dream.
One day.
I had not sent classified material nor received anything marked classified.
That one day.
Clinton, I don't believe that she is qualified.
Hello, welcome. This is the Craig and Greg Show. Woo, you gotta love that intro. You get a little bit of both sides there. I'm your host, Alec Italiano, and I'll be taking you through today's show here.
That got me all hyped up and ready to go.
I'd like to introduce Craig. How you doing over there, Craig?
Doing good.
Craig Ryan.
That wasn't in my hide in the corner.
And Greg, how we doing over
What's
there?
going on? Good morning, America.
It's actually 9:30 at night, but good
you
morning.
could be listening to it
You could be listening to it in the morning.
in the morning, yeah.
All right, I want to take you through, like I said, this show. We're gonna talk about a lot of things this show. We're gonna talk about the VP debate a lot, really how it was structured, what we thought about the moderator, was there too much interrupting, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about our third-party VP candidate, and what we thought he could have done to shake up the debate a little bit if he was actually there. Wow, Bill. And then, the long-term impact of it, and then predictions for the upcoming town hall. But first, I want to talk about something pretty basic here. I want to talk about the winners and the losers. Greg, who defended the president the best?
If we're going to go on who defended their candidate better, I would say Kaine. But I don't know if that's the number one criteria for a VP. Like, generally it's going to be, if the president goes down, who is going to be a more realistic fill-in.
Right.
And I think Pence took that pretty handily. But he dodged every single question about Trump taxes.
He danced.
He just didn't answer them. Not one time, to a point where I feel like Trump, I was watching his live Twitter feed. I think he was looking for a little bit more of a battle, where Pence stayed stoic. He stuck to the message. He was prepared. I think both candidates were prepared. I question Tim Kaine's delivery on, oh boy.
Right. I was listening to some of the commentary.
He fuzzed up a little bit.
He fuzzed up a little bit.
Right.
Craig, what was your take over here? Which VP candidate defended their candidate the best?
Defended their candidate the best?
Yes.
I guess I would have to go with Kaine on defending their own candidate. I mean, Pence.
It's such a low standard.
Yeah.
I criticize Trump a lot for his standards in these debates. Kaine, I mean, he showed up and didn't have any really bad soundbite.
I think Kaine just looked like Trump for the VPs. That's what my take on
71 interruptions.
Yeah.
71 times. Trump interrupted 51 times. And it's annoying. It makes you look very whiny.
Yeah. It was just like watching Trump as a VP. That's what I took from that.
Is that what you took?
Are you saying Pence was the Hillary Clinton?
He tried to take the stances. He tried to make it look like they were name calling.
Right.
He kept trying to take the same arguments that Hillary had. It was like almost watching the candidates flipped. They even flipped them on the screen.
I love watching them both at the same time. I think that adds a lot. I like watching the other candidate while they're responding.
I do like seeing that.
The facial expressions.
That's what I want. I think
where they're looking at.
If you want to try and avoid being an interrupter, because it's generally perceived as bad. I think that was one of the most annoying things about Trump in the first debate, is the interrupting. You can interrupt without saying anything by just making facial expressions. You can do an eye roll. You can do a one-eyed kind of like one of those sides.
You can be a little coy.
You can side eye. You can. What I notice candidates doing a lot is writing things down, even though they never look.
How many times, Greg?
I quit counting after Kaine hit 25 and Pence was at 15. That was about 50 minutes in.
You're writing down when
they're talking, because it looks like you're doing something. It looks like obviously you disagreed with a point they made and you need to make a mark in your notes. But I made a point to watch Tim Kaine after he proceeded to write every time Pence talked. He never looked back down at his paper while he was talking.
Right.
So it almost looked like it was just
intentional.
Yeah, because Hillary did it a lot in the first debate, and Trump started doing it by the end. By the end, Trump was realizing, I would love to get their notes. like what they actually wrote down.
Probably
Little
just like some
smiley
scribbles.
faces.
I hate Hillary.
Yeah.
Like,
Hillary up there like colored
she's
in
so
like,
stupid.
you know, like
I hate her red pantsuit, but I
picture-
can't say anything about it. Like,
picture of Trump up there and she's just like stabbing it, like making him like draw funny.
Hillary's
faces
got.
on him.
I won't delete emails 100
Okay.
times.
No,
Yeah,
no,
she's
Hillary
just-
is.
she's just
pull out
writing
the
it as
shimmy.
she's in there.
Break out the shimmy. As soon as we got to look human. Try and be slightly more relatable.
Somebody made fun of me today because I actually unintentionally did the shimmy when I was making a point,
the
and they're like,
shimmy's gonna
"Oh,
be
you're
a
doing the
thing."
Hillary
I mean,
Clinton,"
yeah.
and I'm like,
Woo!
"I guess that's a thing." Now I wasn't
yeah.
playing.
I
don't know.
I didn't mind the shimmy because at least that was her being real. If
Yeah,
our issue
I
is
guess.
you really want Hillary, dorky Hillary,
Let me bring it.
she's definitely gonna pull out a shimmy when she thinks she's going.
Let me bring it back to the VP debate here. In my
Yeah,
mind, it was essentially a tie. It's kind of a cop out on a winner or loss question, but Pence went a little rogue, like a very small, little bit. I mean, he agreed with Trump on the main issues: your immigration, your foreign policy, being more tough, law and order, economics, things like that. But I heard the commentary earlier today. I forget exactly where I heard it, but they said it set him up for like a longer term. He was looking at this long term. He's like, I could be the Republican candidate in 4 years.
I don't buy
if
that.
this screws
I
up.
don't buy that.
I think that's
I think that's the media's swing on it.
I think if we're talking,
Maybe.
maybe, but I think it was. I mean, he spoke for himself. I mean, like it wasn't all.
he's
just,
He wants
Ted,
to
he's
win.
Ted Cruz's VP.
it wasn't all surrogate
First,
talk.
Donald Trump stole Ted Cruz's nomination. Then he stole his campaign manager.
Mm-hmm.
Then he stole his VP. And then Ted Cruz had to gravel back.
Right.
He just had to then
see,
come
what
crawling back.
What I said about
and, like,
Pence wasn't necessarily a bad thing. They were just observations. Because here's the thing: is Kane towed the line for Hillary on every single issue. It was annoying. It was cheesy. It was phony. I mean, he
It was way over prepared.
he sounded like a career politician, and
the
for
jokes.
all the usual criticisms that career politicians usually get, he like epitomized them all in this debate. So I think when a lot of people say Pence won, that's why they're saying it, because
I think he didn't lose. I like I
Right,
said
it
before.
was a tie.
I don't know
It
if
was
you
a-
win debates.
right,
No. Kane's standard was a lot lower. The expectations from him, I feel like we're giving him a pass for just not having a bad soundbite.
I guess.
Like I really don't think he really moved any voter in any feeling whatsoever. Like it's the kind of debate that you were sleeping by the end of it. If anything, he looked whiny. He kind of looked more like the teacher with bad jokes. The Mount Rushmore.
What was that?
Yeah.
We're under attack.
Neighbors. I'll tell you what, Jeanette,
That's
this is
crazy.
a hairy neighborhood. You got people outside. Keep your animals under control.
Freaking animals.
Jesus.
Wild.
I'm derailed now. I don't even know where we were going
Forgetting
with
what
that.
we were talking about.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about the great debate, and
Yeah.
I did actually want to transition, so thank you for interrupting there, Sadie.
The fuzz up. I really don't know why he said that.
Well, and
I cringed.
that was my next question.
When I heard him say that, I was just like, what?
And
just
who
say
looks more
screwed.
natural?
You
Who
can
looks-
just say screwed up. Why say fuzz?
Why say fuzzed?
Like, it just sounds like a 4-year-old or like a fourth grade history teacher.
And Kane said that, right?
No, yeah,
Oh,
Kane.
yeah,
It was
Kane
Kane.
said
It was
that,
Kane.
yeah.
Pence said, "There you go, whipping out your Mexican thing again."
Oh.
It was like, oh no.
He had a couple. He had a couple of wry comments where it's like, "How long did you take to come up with that little zigzag?"
Which is
there?"
good. The Chris
You know?
Christie moments where
Yeah.
he called him out for his being lamely prepared.
Right.
It's like, oh, that Mount Rushmore joke. How much time did you spend organizing that? Was
Yeah.
that like a 20-minute research project?
Who'd
Like,
you pay extra to work on that one in your staff?
Yeah,
You know?
that was good. That was very Chris Christie-ish.
I didn't like that as much, but
Trump should have hit Hillary on the trumped up trickle down garbage that she tried to pull a couple
Right,
times.
in the
He should have
first
just
one.
on the spot go, yeah, real clever.
Real
Hillary.
clever
Good
there.
thing those 800 staffers you had came up with that.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
and that would have been
That
a good
was
move
a-
for him too.
It was really cheesy.
It's bad.
Yeah, real.
If
Who
you
likes
if
the
you
cheese?
can't deliver
Nobody likes the
if you
cheese.
can't deliver the joke like you're coming up with it on the
Yeah,
moment,
right.
just save it. It
Just-
looks bad. If
Yeah.
you're not an actor.
You can't force the joke.
No,
you know what I mean.
no. A forced joke's worse
Leave
than
the
a no
cheese
joke.
to the newspapers.
Some people
They're
aren't
really
funny.
good with their
Just send
cheesy
your
headlines.
email to your
Some people aren't funny.
mainstream
Yeah.
There's
media
nothing wrong with
colleagues
that.
and
I
Hillary
don't-
Clinton.
I don't
Not
need my
everybody's
president.
funny.
Comedy isn't in my top 5. Like funny isn't in my top 5 characteristics I want on my president. I'd much rather have trustworthy, but that's also out of consideration here.
I don't know.
remember what
it's,
this election is, though.
But I guess
What do you mean?
This isn't your typical election. She's got to be a little funny. She's got to be a little bit more celebrity.
When both VPs came out and said I'm a B-lister, wow. Talk about just setting the bar on the ground and saying I'm just gonna Just lift a foot over. Someone pushed me the rest of the way. Just if only Tim Kaine quit whipping his Mexican thing out over and
That
over again,
Mexican
just
thing.
whipping it out. Every chance he got. The question wasn't about it.
Just like to remind everybody that you're listening to the Craig and Greg show. I am your
Second show.
second show.
We're
show
trying a
number
new
2.
format. We're gonna try different. We're working through the
We're
kinks
working
here.
through it. I'm leading us through this show. My name is Alec. I'm, I guess, a host, but I have opinions here and there.
You're part of the panel.
Part of the panel. I mean, there's only 3 of us, so but that was good dialogue here on overall debate rhetoric. But let's get into the structure a little bit. Let's talk about the role maybe the moderator should be playing, the media role. Obviously, I have some opinions on that. Was there too much interrupting? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is an argument after all, and less like I like this part of our show. It's a good probably advice for moderators is in all media, do less fact checking and just ask better questions. I mean, that's all
Drive the conversation.
That's all good journalism really is at the end of the day, is just asking good questions.
Do we have her
at
name?
the right
I
time.
feel bad. I don't think we
Elaine.
have. Elaine.
Elaine
These
or
moderators want to be as big of a part of the debate
Do you think she-
as the candidate.
Do you think she did that?
Oh yeah, she tried to control the entire thing.
Well, you have to. At some point, you have to keep it.
Fairly or
It was
violently?
annoying though. I mean,
mean-
she wasn't good at it. I mean, she
was
tried.
terrible. I mean,
thought
honestly, this debate, I was kind of embarrassed for our country after.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a pretty standard. I mean, it wasn't exciting,
What?
but debates aren't supposed to be normal debates. From like, when you go back through our history, people don't watch it expecting like Joe Biden to come running across the stage with his shirt off and Trump to insult half of the audience. Hillary have a meltdown or a seizure on
70-some
stage. That
interruptions on the one
Well,
side. I mean, they both interrupted.
I think.
but
I guess I personally like the fact that she allowed them to interrupt. I don't like the interrupting. I think there are better ways to do it, and there is a time that interrupting and fact checking is proper. But allowing Tim Kaine to interrupt that much made him look bad.
see,
It's part of a discussion between
Right.
two people.
I watched the debate with my brother
oh yeah.
yesterday, and he's your typical voter, at least is what I would think. He's not extremely informed. He's not watching the debate multiple times like I am. He's just he
Just
watches,
your average person
he's
watching
your average
it.
person.
You're getting a good.
And the
yeah.
the response I got from him, he was saying it himself about Kane is he thinks he was worse than Trump. That was his impression.
He interrupted 20 times more. They
Yeah.
had Tim Kaine at
Right.
71,
It's
Trump at 52 in the first.
We had
debate.
that number right.
Yeah, and all they want to talk about is how rude and how much Trump insults, and I
The
think
stare down.
It made it
he
worse.
creepily stared at him the entire time. Like he never broke eye contact, except when he wrote things down.
It was at a round table. Just,
It was an odd
I'm
setup.
just saying.
It
I'm
was an
just
odd
pointing
setup.
out. other
It's the
side of
microphone's
things.
fault.
Yeah, well, you never want to blame things like that in a debate.
If you're
but-
blaming the moderator, you lose.
right, exactly.
Generally, if you're blaming the referee, you are the loser.
You're losing.
That's
for a
the
reason.
way it goes.
Um,
I don't. What should she have done it differently? What would your advice to be? Like you said, okay, she changed. I guess were you thinking there weren't enough follow-up questions? Like she didn't press certain issues.
We're talking about the moderator.
the moderator,
moderator?
yeah, the role of the moderator. Because you seem critical of her, but I don't know what else. She had two candidates that were showing her zero respect. She could have got to try and be like a bossy substitute teacher. I don't know what role she was.
I don't think it was so much what she could have done differently, but it was
I
who
think
was this
consistency.
person and why didn't we have somebody else?
Or who were the VPs? Who were any of these people?
I guess, but I mean,
Why
like,
aren't they? She should
wa-
have been consistent with both sides.
You really think she was that biased against Hillary?
I do.
You just don't think Trump opens himself up for more hard-hitting questions.
Which
you can
moderator-
only
which-
ask a
hold on, which
question about the
moderator are we
emails
talking
and the
about?
foundation.
Well, no, we're
this moderator.
the one in the VP debate.
Yes, the
okay,
VP
I just want to
debate.
clarify.
I did not see any kind of bias.
So you think Trump opens himself up to more? Like,
He goes out on, he says these things on camera. A lot of the times, the things he's being asked to comment on are exact things he said. Hillary, I know you got to follow up on the emails and the foundation, but
And
there's
Benghazi.
not nearly as much. Like he didn't, the 3 o'clock in the morning tweets asking, Mike Pence how he
dumb.
deals with that, being his VP. To me, that's really relevant because I'd be waking up every day if I'm Mike Pence, looking at my phone going, good Lord, please tell me he didn't say anything ridiculous last night. Like at 3 o'clock while everyone's sleeping, he tells people to watch a porno. That wasn't even a porno. Like that I don't think that's being biased to ask that. Trump opened himself up to it. Like, I don't know if... I'm trying to think, like, what's an example of something that you think that she harped more on than she should have?
I don't... What do you mean she harped more on?
I don't... Like, was there any... Like, when
I
you're
just think
saying-
she wasn't consistent with controlling.
Here's my thing.
She did not give Pence as many follow-ups. She was much quicker to say, I'm going to go to the next conversation when
Which
Pence
I was
had-
expecting that because, I mean, we see that in the Trump-Hillary debates, too. You know, they're always saying, Hillary, you're going to follow up with this. They never give that same opportunity to Trump. But, I mean...
And there is a little bit of... That little bit of a media biasm is real. I mean, like...
It sticks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's one of those things where all the Democrats think the media is against them and all the Republicans think the media is against them.
Like I said, to me, I don't have a whole lot of... I didn't
sympathy.
notice...
I understand,
I guess I
but-
didn't notice any one point that I was going, wow, that was really...
I mean, she's probably somebody who's not going to vote
Leading.
for Trump just by her nature.
Just because he doesn't have a D
Is that
beside his
racial
name. If he had the
profiling,
D
Alex?
beside his name,
A little
she'd
bit, but
probably
it's
vote for
also more than just what her
Yeah.
occupation is as well. So
It's more the letter beside the candidate's name.
Here's my thing. I really didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was more of a conventional debate. You know, like something that you would see, like a regular debate format. And I'm okay with the interrupting. Like I said in the intro here, it's an argument.
Yeah,
like you're allowed to interrupt.
Yeah, it's...
I think the moderator was set up to fail though, and I think the moderator needs to sort of counter that by asking longer questions and not just be like, I want to talk about Syria now. What do you guys think's happening over there?
I thought her questions were kind of long.
Here's the thing with
Specific.
the question.
Generally were
The
specific.
question needs to form more of an argument and then let them respond. It needs to be more reaction rather than just saying, "Okay, here's my view on this issue." The moderator needs to actually, I don't want to say put out a view, but like form an argument is really how I'm trying to form it. They need to go out there and say X, Y, and Z. These are facts. This is my argument for or against something. Almost doing some editorializing. Like you really got to toe the line there. But I think that's how you get a more genuine response.
But what do you do if you're a moderator when you ask a question and the candidate just doesn't answer?
I mean, that's okay.
Is it on you to go, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking about
in your
the other
follow-up.
person's taxes. I wasn't talking about the other person's emails.
That happens
I'm
a lot,
asking
where
you.
They completely
It does.
dodge the question.
And that's your classic politician
when
there.
you said it was a classic political debate, or what you said earlier about that, that's to me what I got. Is they were given political answers.
Right.
They didn't answer a question. It was dodge, dip, duck, dodge, dive.
But here's the thing: the
There was
moderator,
no-
the moderator has a chance to get back at them in their
And
follow-up question.
How many times do you follow up? What if you go, okay, let's say I'm talking to Mike Pence and I ask him about specifically his comments on the Machado situation, and Pence, he just does a deflection and then starts attacking Hillary. Is it appropriate to stop him and go, I'm not asking you about that. I'm asking you to comment specifically on this issue.
They can try.
You don't think that would come across as rude? Like, I think that might be. It would be a
It
tough
definitely
thing. It's a
would.
tough job to expect the moderator to do.
No, it definitely will come across rude. Like I said, the whole idea of the debate is, we got to get candidate X and candidate Y fighting with each other over a particular issue because this is a we're rating centric world and we're going for sound bites and zingers here, but really. Like a true debate actually probably should have more debate between the moderator and the candidate, and then that is how you're like it's the candidate interview. It's the moderator literally interviewing each candidate right in front of the other one, and then they're allowed to talk about the same
the
thing.
moderator should be debating the candidate?
controversial.
Almost, I mean, more of like a cross-examination, almost more.
See, I think the candidate's supposed to do the fact checking.
Yeah,
but they have to be able to interrupt
this whole
this
whole idea that they should be putting the real-time fact checking on the screen.
No, that's dumb.
Ridiculous.
You're never gonna be able to do it. So why even try?
Yeah,
that
whole conversation that
Well,
I keep hearing about.
I don't think they're not doing that. Or they're
No,
doing
they're
that
not-
on like certain. Like,
You'd have to pull up a second screen
Yeah,
on your
okay,
laptop
okay.
or something.
Yeah,
But people are complaining, saying that these networks should be putting up little fact checks.
and they do the
Craig,
tweets.
you've suggested, I believe, right, that no moderator.
No moderator.
What are your thoughts on that?
No moderator.
No moderator.
Who asked the
One-on-one, an
questions?
hour. A moderator says for the next 10 minutes we're going to talk about this issue.
you just have people fighting and talking over each other. We wouldn't even be able to hear what they're saying.
We didn't hear what
I
people were
believe
saying
that
in the
too,
last
but
Well,
I,
yeah.
I think we're moving. The more we criticize moderators and they're being put in ridiculous situations, I don't know if there's a realistic. Like I said, it depends. Do you want an aggressive moderator who is debating, interviewing these candidates, or
I
do
would
you want a
rather
moderator
have-
who steps back?
I would rather
and generally
have.
tries to avoid the fray.
I would rather have somebody trying to join the fray than scold the other person or the
Why don't- I
think
audience.
Craig,
Why don't we just mute the mic of the other person? For the 2
I mean,
minutes?
you
no,
could do
things like the
that.
buzzer. Fox has pulled out the buzzer on primaries.
Make
It's
it-
possible.
right.
You
But
could
the
just,
buzzer
you could
doesn't
just-
stop them from talking.
well, essentially, if someone just starts buzzing over you,
What's the
it's
sport?
going to look
what's that
really
sports
bad.
show that
if
does
you
that?
say it.
That's
Around the horn.
Around the horn, yeah.
Around the horn. is the
Muted.
mute button.
Muted.
Yeah,
Wide
mute
open.
button. Okay, you're off topic.
You'll
here.
just have Trump screaming so that you hear it on her microphone.
Yeah.
What if each candidate
What
brought
if
their
the-
own moderator, and your moderator cross-examined your competitor?
True lawyer courtroom
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
It's
like
not a bad
like
idea.
you
That's not a bad
answer
idea.
I could
questions
get into
against
something
your
like that.
opposition,
I
and
haven't
you
heard
pick
that
someone
ever.
to grill
Yeah.
their
You
opposition.
have a Democratic moderator and you have a
Yeah.
Republican moderator. Why not?
Who would you choose? I'm trying to think.
More like a
Some
court
fun
style
character.
Court,
That
like
would
a
be
journalist that's your lawyer, essentially.
It-
You know,
'cause
playing that role.
If you want a good argument, you want the best of both sides.
Right. Right.
So I think the best to question someone on their views would be someone that holds, not necessarily conflicting, but counter views.
I hate the 30-second follow-up question too.
I don't know how you put times
Pence,
on this. I don't
30
know
seconds
how
to
you,
respond to that. Because the minute the moderator says that, the minute
I-
that she's set up to fail.
I know.
Because then you're gonna have to try to talk
It's
over them, and
bad.
I really need to move on. Like we need to talk about. I really want to talk about Syria, you know. And it's just,
especially when you're waiting on this particular answer. There were a couple points where I was
Yeah.
like, "Hold on, they're just about to get to the
Yeah.
red meat. We're just
No.
about to get to the point."
I
So-
insist.
Oh,
we
we're gonna
move
pivot.
on. No
pivot,
wonder everybody
pivot.
hates the media. I mean, like it's just you know.
Everyone, that should be a TV show. Everyone hates the media.
It's
It's
just- everybody
good
hates the
lord.
media.
People are going to be ready to start tar and feathering journalists after this election.
Yeah,
I
I
get-
don't know, but I agree with you on that one.
I
Craig,
sympathize
the,
with them.
the fact checking on the show. It's just
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
just-
Because facts are subjective right now.
They are.
In this election,
that's why I like your idea. Okay, if they are subjective, bring in a
bring in the enemy.
yeah, and they'll be prepared.
Bring out the bet. Oh,
have them pull that briefcase, put it on the table, and
or
get
have
the
your
material
VP.
out.
Maybe your VP should be doing the cross examinations.
go.
Maybe you have
And the
Pence,
presidential
grill Hillary,
candidate does
Tim
it for
Kaine
the
got
VP
Trump.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
You got Trump asking
it
the
would
other
be-
one a question.
it
People would watch it.
It would be better. People are going to watch it no matter what. I
Right.
just feel like it would. I want the best argument. The goal of these debates is to hash out these arguments in front of the American public so they know what they're voting for.
Why can't they ever agree though? Like, why don't they
The
hold
world would stop
Wait,
turning.
Why can't we hold
This
the
is
same
the problem
view on,
with
like,
having.
That's the whole Hillary and Donald Trump are secretly working together, creating a false dichotomy that we think we have a choice. We have the illusion of a choice.
It's
Really, we're picking the same side.
I do have a response to that, but I want to wait.
Yeah, let's
for
not,
our-
let's
our-
not get out. Let's not get out on those wheels because we got Wild Bill coming up next.
You don't want me to get in depth. with
No,
my
no, we're not going
conspiracy
in
on
depth with
Donald
that.
Trump
We're
getting-
not going. Yeah, we're not yet. We'll wait till closer.
For now, we'd just be living in the projects.
Question is, where was Wild Bill Weld last night?
Where was he?
Where was he? I didn't see him on the stage, but I think he had a lot to offer.
They should have had like a live camera on him, you know, like wherever he was.
He
like,
live tweeted it.
Did he?
live tweeted
Did he
it.
live-
No, he was on it.
were you paying attention?
I'm paying attention. You know, Twitter is just as important to the debate as.
Oh, of course. We live in that social media world.
Oh yeah, you
Did
know
he say
me.
anything interesting?
No, absolutely nothing. It's useless. What I was morely, well, I like what he said, but it wasn't anything
Yeah.
like nothing you wouldn't.
But where
expect.
was Bill? Where in the world was Wild Bill?
Where in the world was Wild Bill?
Wild Bill Weld. Where
I don't
was he?
know. I don't know. I didn't see him.
What state's he from again?
I didn't. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts former governor. I don't know. Was he a senator?
Just like
Craig?
Mitt Romney.
Bill Weld?
Yeah.
I am not sure.
He's my favorite on the ticket.
Well, yeah, he's running for this.
Yeah.
He's funny. I mean, Bill Weld.
Well, here, let's. All right, let's
He's
do that.
definitely a funny person, but
He's aggressive. He kind of has a Biden-like vibe to him.
yeah.
You know, he can go rogue once in a while. Can be aggressive and stern, but at the same time, still kind of funny.
Kind of funny.
Kind of funny, relatable. Someone you could have a beer with.
Right.
The only two candidates,
Which is
Gary
obviously who we need to
Johnson.
elect as our president.
Hey, at this point, I'm kind of concerned. Like that's.
Who am I going to drink with?
Those are the only two candidates I could legitimately imagine hanging out outside of politics.
He
Like, I
was-
could see these two being friends.
He was
Gary
governor
and-
of Massachusetts.
Yeah, and then Gary was New Mexico, right?
But
Yeah.
wasn't Mitt Romney also governor of Massachusetts?
I think he was senator and governor of Utah.
No, I don't think so.
Or I just guess I'm assuming Utah because the Mormon thing.
Look up.
He was also Senate. Right,
Look up Mitt Romney while you're over there. But
Mitt Romney.
you know, this is where I kind of came to a crossroads with how a third party candidate would have shaken up the debate. Is when you get to this point in the election season, I think it's good to have a stark two-person contrast ideologically. That's you're giving the American people, one or the other. There isn't this wild card that could magically. I don't think anybody.
Why?
Democracy actually, I think. I mean, I'm not expert on this by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of people say the two-party candidate it detracts from democracy. I actually think it does a lot of things to aid it that maybe we're sort of taking for granted.
Avoiding factions.
Yeah, you're getting that option. I mean, it's you have very stark, like I said, ideological differences on both sides of the ticket on key issues, immigration, economics.
So, are you saying you're
general
good? You want the
policy.
third party, or you don't?
I don't. Not at this point. I think the third party candidate has their role, and it actually should be playing out in the primary season. Because here's the thing: is at this point that we get to in the election, it's like you're trying to introduce somebody way too late in the game. Like, how is Gary Johnson supposed to make a name for himself and actually be competitive in the presidential election
By going on the debate stage and not looking like an imbecile.
it's too little too late. It's too little too late.
I don't think it's too late. I think people are pretty sick
If he
of
would
their
have started
choices.
debating against these people in the primary season, I think the primary season should be debate season.
Well,
we should have as many
there
debates
were
as
libertarian debates. They're just not covered by the press.
possible. We should have more inner.
I watched them. They're available
we should have.
online.
They should have more inter-party debates with the third parties.
They don't
The-
have inter-party debates in the primaries.
I know. I'm saying they should.
Okay.
I'm saying the third party should debate against the Republican.
I think the media should
and
just
the-
cover the
They
other
should.
parties.
They should. I mean, I agree with you.
You got
but
the libertarian
this would be
parties
one
on
way to
every
force them to do
single ticket in every state this year, and they didn't
First
even
time,
cover it.
I believe. I don't know that it's
On every- in
that
every
it's been.
state.
It's the
And
third
then they're
party has
playing
been on the
games.
ballot.
They're
in
playing
this.
games like Pennsylvania. They weren't on the absentee ballot.
Oh yeah, no, and even when the polls asked the question, it's
They-
like, who would you vote for, Trump or Hillary?
right.
And then they ask if there was a third party, would you entertain it? That's
you take the two-person option, then they have the other option. The other option's beating the two candidates every time.
an honest poll should 1/3 of the time ask the questions leading with Gary Johnson, 1/3 of the time ask the question leading with Hillary, 1/3 of the time Trump. And you just it's a random selection, but you're swayed by the first name you hear. The way the question is asked.
And here's the other problem is, so because the polls are swayed, it has a sway on the American psyche in the way they lean and vote as well.
Does the chicken or the egg come first? Are
Exactly.
people not taking him seriously because the polls don't take him seriously?
I'm pretty sure that's how Trump
or the
got
polls not taking him seriously because the people aren't taking him
right.
seriously.
That's how
it's tough.
Trump won the Republican nominee.
Sure.
Because he just kept harping about the polls the whole time. I mean, he
You love
loved
them when they
talking
like
about
you.
the
Yeah,
polls.
they're nothing when they hate you.
And that was good strategy because
He has
yeah,
a good chapter in his book where he trash talks polls, saying he goes, polls are irrelevant. They're just fickle things meant to just be a news story for a day. They're going to change. And quite frankly, natural events that happen, like this hurricane, are going to affect the election. How the Obama administration handles this type of response, similar to how Katrina hurt Bush. And Obama was able to run on the lines that, oh, look, he just did a flyby. He didn't even care about it. He didn't even make it. He didn't try and get the proper FEMA wasn't down there in time. That a terrorist attack. If we get hit by some kind of anything in the next month, that's going to kill the Democratic Party. And there's not really, what can you do about it besides stop it, of course.
Of course. I don't know. I was a little, and then like Aleppo, the more of the media treating third
Not
party
being able to name.
candidates
Okay, Alex.
just like
Okay, time out. No,
dirtbags.
because you're going to bring this up, Mr. Pessimistic towards the third party. Name your favorite, the world leader that you most look up to, that you most respect. A foreign world leader. Anybody.
Foreign world leader.
Foreign world leader. I'm
That
talking Africa, Europe,
Canada.
South America.
Trudeau. What was his name? Trudeau.
Okay.
Just got
You
elected
look up to
there.
Trudeau. You're gonna. Okay, so you ready to defend
I
Trudeau's
literally-
beliefs right
I
now?
literally look up to him.
Oh, that's good.
Ha, ha,
Okay,
ha,
funny.
ha,
Our
ha,
hat,
ha, ha.
America's hat, Canada.
Right,
I love
right.
Canada. But on
Oh,
a side
Canada,
note-
eh? Coming down here from north of the
Alec,
border.
what exactly do you like about Trudeau's policies?
Well, Trudeau, he's a true progressive. He's his name's been in politics up there in Canada for quite some time there, and I think he can just really create an environment where people will trust him, and let's go Maple Leaves, eh?
If we have any Canadian viewers, they're tuning out right now after that accent, eh?
Oh yeah, that's
Hey, take it
genuine
on
accent
home.
there,
Up there in West
coming
New York.
down from Saskatchewan, eh?
Okay,
Yeah, I
Craig,
mean-
what's your okay, that's not. You're a progressive.
Right.
Trudeau is
He's
a
it's a
progressive,
progressive country.
a little bit wimpy.
I think
And
Canada.
when you don't have to raise a military, it makes it easy to run a country and give free health care when
I
you
mean,
don't have to.
hey, they work the right.
When you know
deals as far
America's
as
going to
I'm
have to
concerned.
jump in.
I think Canada's the best progressive country that much better than the
But
European ones.
now,
They
Craig,
rely on our military.
they're completely dependent on a military.
Doesn't
But
matter. I mean, they're
when
playing,
we have a
they're playing the
draft,
game.
Canadians, when Trump starts
They're playing the
drafting
game
people,
just like
it's not going to be
everybody else
Americans.
is.
He's going to say if the Canadians want to
They have a strong
take advantage of our
economy.
army, we're going to have a draft out of them. The Mexicans, if you want to become an American citizen, go
Craig,
serve in the war.
Craig, weigh in on this, please.
Yes,
just-
Craig, who's your favorite? Who's
We
your
need some-
favorite foreign world
we need
leader?
some help.
I'll answer that question when somebody runs with
Yeah,
the
see, that's-
belief that they are going to take power away from themselves.
Okay, then on that note, though, can you name maybe acknowledge a foreign leader that you respect? You don't necessarily look up to, but
No,
you're cool with?
I don't have any.
Not even the. See, I would have taken the Pope. I would have said Pope Francis.
It's
Technically,
I
a world
don't
leader.
like Pope.
Oh, how do you not support the Pope? Come on, this Pope seems like a pretty decent guy.
He's a good pope.
He seems like a good Pope. The
Okay.
pets are going to heaven. Did
He's
you hear
the
that?
most-
Pets get to go to heaven now.
Pets get to heaven
Yeah,
now.
your pets are going to be there too. If you were worried about that.
Is he rewriting the Bible too? I think he might.
No, he's not. For the first time ever, the Pope isn't a staunch conservative.
Right.
So
God forbid,
So the right
literally.
wing is
God forbid.
Yeah, God
God
forbid.
forbid.
God forbid. We have a Democrat running as a Republican, an autocrat running as a.
What is going on in the world?
I
right now?
don't know.
Crazy
I don't
time
know.
to be alive,
The
I'll
Dalai
tell you that
Lama.
much.
The Dalai Lama wouldn't have been a bad pick. But I even like the way you could tell in Gary Johnson's eyes that he knew where that. The question was intentionally meant to make him look bad. Because let's say, what would Trump have said? Putin? Would that have been a better response if Gary Johnson would go, yeah, I respect Putin? It wasn't that he
Right.
couldn't name
Right.
any foreign leaders. But as far as a libertarian foreign leader,
There aren't really
there isn't
any
any.
out there.
And
yeah.
I like the one he did go, Vicente Fox, the one who said, we will not build the fucking wall. Like that. If you're going to pick anyone,
That's
I
a good
guess
one.
he's a feisty politician. He got a lot of heart.
A lot of people gave the Mexican president shit for kind of like sucking up
Which Bill Weld.
to Trump a little bit. I feel like.
Oh no, he didn't suck up. He messed up. He fucked up. He
Yeah,
fuzzed up.
he
He
fuzzed
fuzzed up. I'm
up.
sorry. Let's
Yeah.
keep it Tim Kaine here.
Yeah.
He fuzzed up.
Let's keep it to
He fuzzed up.
keep it TK.
He was trying to make a political gesture, saying, "Fine, if any of the candidates want to come down, that's cool."
Right.
Trump looked at that as a chance to
Called
look
his hand.
presidential.
Boom. Done.
God, Peña Nieto, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Because any future libertarians here, start learning your geography. Quite frankly,
Why?
it's like
You don't.
You're gonna have
quickly
to go.
capital of South Dakota.
do
You
not-
can't run America. You don't know. You don't know its most. You don't know the Midwest.
I don't understand. why
South Dakota.
Yeah, what's the capital of South Dakota?
Bismarck? Is that North Dakota?
I don't. These are things
I
I
have
don't.
no idea.
I don't see. If you're president, you have an advising panel that wakes you up in the morning and goes, "Yeah, Aleppo is the current issue." If
This
you
is
were a
what's going
third-party
on.
candidate trying to break this very partisan, whatever democracy that we have going on right now, he has to start figuring out ways to raise money and contact voters. He doesn't necessarily have all that time.
to be studying everything going on in the world.
Because in 6 months, Aleppo might be Damascus again.
And
it could be
realize
somewhere else.
The people voting don't know
No, people-
what Aleppo is. They don't, they know now.
If
because it's on
anything,
the
yeah,
news
kudos
every
to
day, but-
Gary for
Yeah.
bringing up something that
Yeah.
we don't know much about. It is just a side issue, and the question is why even are we there? It's not necessarily where the place is at, but what are we doing there? We're sponsoring regime changes, and we don't know if the person that we're helping is going to be any better than the person we're trying to take out.
The average voter wouldn't even be able to look at a map and point out where
No.
the Middle East even
No.
is.
No, and that's why I don't think. I mean, he hasn't been that. I don't think he's been affected by that comment in the polls. I think Hillary's pretty solid first debate performance got a lot of people like me back into feeling comfortable with Hillary. Not like I'm still for Gary, but at least this was something where if you can't do the basic function of winning a debate against a man who has never had a debate in his life. Oh my God, this is embarrassing that she's even gotten to this point in the party. She should be able to show up and do 90 minutes of statesmanship, of performing for a debate.
After 30 years in politics.
Yes,
she should be able to-
yes.
She should have done better. Honestly, if you actually think about it.
I think she got him, she lured him, she baited him. It wasn't the most creative bait, but he took it. Hook, line, sinker.
Yeah.
Like he fell 6 days on the Machado. 6 days! All he had to do was get on the next morning and go, you know what? It was a different time back then. I was running a beauty contest. That's not running a country. Leave it. No, he calls Fox and Friends at 7 o'clock in the morning and spills his guts to Steve Ducey.
I don't understand why he doesn't just point out literally why he was doing what he was doing at the time and why that doesn't.
I know.
He's not running a beauty contest as president.
Well, at the same time, what if she had
And
gotten in a
APR is
car
good PR.
accident? Would that be a break of contract if she had gotten in a car accident and her face got disfigured after she won? If claiming that her
Well, that might be.
gaining weight was
You can
breaking a
take-
contract, would you say that like a car accident?
It's similar
Then
to a football
technically you're-
player. If a football player breaks his arm, I hope he had an
Hey,
insurance
Ben
policy on
got
his
paid
arm.
that season. He decided to ride his motorbike with no helmet on.
He got paid.
I can ride my bike with no helmet on.
If he wouldn't
No helmet on.
if he would have never been able to play again, he wouldn't have. That's why you take an insurance policy out on. If you're a quarterback, you take an insurance policy
Hey, a golfer,
out on your arm.
golfer can take a policy out on their back, on their,
Yeah.
in anything. I think it's crazy, but you can do it.
Somebody in the U.
I'm gonna
Miss
take an
USA
insurance policy out on my
could take
lungs.
a policy out on their face.
You get a terrible rate,
Time
Greg.
for a cigarette break.
Yeah.
So, you
Once
didn't know
ag-
they test you for that, right?
Ah, shh.
Once again,
It's
this
a goddamn lie.
this
It's
is the
Post,
Craig-
the media.
Craig and Greg show.
It's a goddamn lie.
Hope you're enjoying the conversation right now. It's pretty entertaining, if I do say so myself. I don't know if I can give ourselves our own compliment there, but I just did.
This should be the song that Wild Bill would have walked out to. And that's what we never even know. What would he add it to the debate?
Why don't they add that to the debate walk-in?
You should have an
We
entry
can hype
song.
them up. It's the same way
You
we come into a football.
You should have an entry song. You should
Fireworks.
have an entry song.
Trump can have fireworks and smoke machines.
Some kind of overcoat that you like.
And he takes
You
it
have
off.
someone like take it off and you're like,
He comes in like wrestling style.
we're close. 4 more years we might have that. 4 more years. I got one more comment on Wild Bill before we transition to the next subject.
What's that, Greg?
Well, I wanted to talk about what he would have added to the debate. And I think it was Kane couldn't bring up or attack Trump's taxes because of there was no email. Hillary has no email transparency.
Okay.
Pence couldn't really go after the Clinton Foundation because the Trump Foundation is appearing just as corrupt. So both of them had to just dance the entire time. Bill Weld wouldn't have had to justify any of that.
Right.
He would have just been able to attack, and hold their feet to the fire, as opposed to having to worry, I can only attack this
That's
so
why
much.
they need
Bill Weld.
15%.
Dude,
Bill Weld would have been more of the true
would have.
journalist.
He
than
would have.
15%'s a number that's
It's
really hard to
arbitrary.
get
But
to.
I think it's 30 million people
Look at
of the
how
population.
many. Look at how much the voting spread out.
That needs-
These two candidates are only collecting
if you
60%.
if you
of
can
the
get
vote.
on every ballot, you should get a spot at
You're
the debate.
expecting the
Definitely.
third party.
Definitely.
Yes. If you get on every ballot, you should get to the debate. Period.
And what the general
There's no-
public doesn't realize either, it's not just the Libertarian Party. There's other parties
There
out
is,
there. There's
there
other
is.
candidates.
You know, I
You're
would.
spreading out this. Okay, so 60% of the voting base is going to the two main parties, and you have the other 40% split up between how many parties? How's Johnson supposed to come up with
No.
just 15% on his? It's ridiculous.
It's unfair.
It's a ridiculous
at the end of the day.
It is.
expectation.
But I do want to talk about.
There
the
will be
debate.
more on that. We're gonna have some Joe Stein panel members come in, and we're gonna talk about the rise of the third party.
Definitely something that we're
In-
going
in
to
a
talk
future
about in
episode.
future shows, and it is something that's important to democracy because most other developed countries do have legitimate third-party candidates, and if
They
we
end
are
up having
sort of
third. If you're gonna have 3, why not 5? Why
right,
not
and
7?
they have a
Why not 10?
lot. So if America really is going toward that progressive trend or whatever, and if Europe is more progressive and that's the direction that we're going, then we'll see more of it. But I do want to talk about how this vice presidential debate will it have a long term? Does it play Does it play any kind of role in this campaign?
I'm going to tell you this now. By the time people even listen to this
They're gonna
podcast, they
forget
are
who the
They're already
names
gonna
are.
forget about it.
40%
Already
of
forgot.
our listeners didn't know who they were going into the debate, and probably 50% of those people didn't even know the debate happened. So,
So the answer to the question that we have on the rundown.
that's why we're updating you. For all of you out there who didn't know that Mike Pence and Tim Kaine sat down for an intellectual showdown, it happened.
So nobody really does care
I don't
about these
think-
boring crackers.
That's what it's
Greg.
on the rundown. That's what
what's
we're on the
rundown,
rundown. I mean,
yeah,
that was the definition of two boring white. We had mayo versus white bread.
All right, let me
Just-
lament a
just
little bit
not-
about against this argument, because
Oh, tell me why the VP matters.
people really should care about the vice president debate, just like people really should vote more often, or they should save more money, or they should spend more money on food and less money on beer. I mean, it's just one of those things.
I do have a take on
Liquid diet.
the current VP situation. I do have a after you're done.
But here's the thing: is
Oh, okay.
the
I feel like
arguments.
Hillary's medical records are about to
the
come into
argument-
question.
Nothing to do with Hillary.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing why the
Okay.
VP debate still matters, though, is because the arguments are the same. You just have different people saying them. I mean, if you're really in it for the issues, like if you're in it for the actual policy that's coming out of it, then you'll pay attention to the debate. I hate the media for saying this. I think the media actually is sort of responsible for saying the VP debate
Once
doesn't
again,
really care.
blame the media. Now you're blaming the media.
I have a lot of criticism for the media. I have a lot of criticism for the
I got
moderators.
love. I got
I will
love.
blame the media. all the
I
time.
feel like they're
I mean,
hating on.
I love media and I like to perform media, but at the same time, the media usually does a bad job, and people actually need to call the media out when they do a bad job. And when they go out and they say, "Oh, the VP debate doesn't
Rush
matter," I mean,
Limbaugh does.
I heard a lot of
Is Rush Limbaugh not part of the media? Are we technically right now not
Right,
being
but
part
that's-
of the
We're,
media?
we're
It's the
talk
definition.
radio. We're the
That's the
We're the
media. That is
These
No,
are the
but
ones
we're
that
fringe
hate.
media, actually.
Oh,
if you're
I
gonna-
like that.
Opinion
I
media.
like okay,
Opinion
fringe media.
Yeah, but the one thing I did want to say is in the last presidential election between Obama and Romney, or maybe it was the 08 one.
Oh wait, it was McCain.
Yeah,
Palin versus Biden was a big one because Palin was
Yes,
like an idiot.
that was
Biden
what I'm thinking
killed
of.
it. And Biden beat up Paul Ryan pretty good too,
No,
calling him a liar.
both.
I think like 21 different ways. Biden was a beast. That's the thing is after having Barack, who has, I mean, regardless of what you think on his policies, his delivery is good.
Oh yeah.
He is a statesman.
So is Biden.
Biden, their delivery is
Yeah.
good. To
That's-
watch Tim Kaine and Hillary,
It was in-
They were saying
stumble-
Well,
Kane
didn't
was
you
trying
say-
to take the Biden
He
approach.
was trying to
And
be
he
Joe.
can't do it. He
There
can't
is
do the
no
same
Joe.
thing.
Would you not say that Biden had an instrumental role
Very.
in Obama's win?
I think he kept
So-
a lot of white people calm.
Yeah,
I think there was a
I think-
heavy middle class
okay,
vote that were like,
okay.
I trust.
But going down that logic,
a community organizer, as Barack was being
right, labeled.
labeled back then. I
But
think he.
Wouldn't then you
They
would-
were a great tandem.
Then you would
I
have
love
to
them.
say
I
that
love
the
them.
VP debate matters. Then for people that say, "Oh, this doesn't matter. This doesn't
But
matter,"
no, it
all
didn't,
you have to
it
do
didn't
is look
change
at the
my vote.
last
It didn't-
two
I don't know if that.
I don't think it changed.
I don't
elections
know
to
if
say
it- I
that
don't-
they.
I
It
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. It matters. It's the policy. The discussion is still being held. It's policy. It's substance. Just because it's not the actual.
I've never
candidates.
picked a team to win a football game because of the backup quarterback.
With the current VP situation, though, Trump's running on the idea that he picks the best people
Oh,
for the right
He
situation.
took credit for
So-
Pence studied with one of Trump's past competitors,
Right.
and Trump managed to play this up as he won.
But Trump claims to be able to select the greatest people
Yeah.
in the greatest situations. Well, here was our
It's going to be the best ever.
This was the first view we had of somebody he chose, he selected. Is he the greatest?
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's a pretty good.
I think he did a decent. And
Did a
I hope
fine
he-
job.
I
He
hope
did a very
he's
fine
doing-
job.
if Trump wins,
he excelled his very
I
low bar.
really
also.
hope Pence is running the show.
No. Well,
Or at least
okay,
part of the show, right?
A major
On that
part of
note,
the
on that note,
Major part of the
That's a good point, Craig.
a lot of people who are reluctant Trump supporters are basing it off of Congress keep him in check. His VP will keep him in check. There was nothing
A
that
lot
Mike
of his
Pence.
supporters are making up things about Trump.
It's bad. It's Rudy Giuliani has gone nuts.
When you read some of the bios of the internet
Absolutely.
about
I'm
this
just saying,
stuff,
look
it
at the
is just
comments on
crazy.
things when people come up with these crazy things
Crazy
Trump's never
stuff.
actually said
Oh.
of how he's going to do things.
It's on both
but,
sides.
but is there
though. I
anything
mean,
about the way Pence
it's
acted?
nuts.
Is there anything about the way Pence conducted himself last night that made you think he's going to be able to keep Donald in check? If anything, he just looked very subvert. Like he's going to do what he's told. He's
So you're
not going
saying,
to.
did Pence raise the expectations for Trump?
I think to me, Trump can no longer say, "This is my first debate." Going into this town hall, This is going to be something now where he had to practice. He got ripped up pretty good by the media. He has 2 weeks to prepare. Mike Pence just showed that somebody in Camp Trump knows how to
Fight.
prepare for a debate.
Right.
Somebody in the camp does. So I don't know how he's going to be able to get away with this whole, oh, I'm just not a politician. I don't get it.
And we'll bring this up a little bit in our last segment, but maybe maybe Trump will learn on the fly.
I think he might get
pull
mad.
out
I think this talk of flipping the ticket, when people go, man, what a breath of fresh air. I just think Pence ran. Trump has to take a little bit of insult to that.
You can't fire him now, right?
No, he can't be even.
Trump could if he wanted to. Trump shakes up the game all the time.
Technically, yeah.
Can he technically?
I'm
do
waiting
this?
for how long Kellyanne Conway gets to keep her job.
Can he technically?
Oh, by the
do
way,
this?
where's Paul Manafort at? I'm going to keep bringing this up on every show because he's the only reason we're going through this. Paul Manafort, the Russian Manchurian candidate that helped get Trump all the delegates, stole the election from Ted Cruz, all of a sudden disappeared. Whole bunch of Russian ties come up, and he's gone.
See,
Totally not even being referred to anymore.
the thing with Trump, once he gets behind that microphone without his teleprompter, I think the American people really would like to vote for him, vote for an outsider, but he keeps talking them out of it.
It's almost like an effort. That's where it
It's
is,
like he's
yeah.
talking them out
At
of voting
some
for him. Like,
point.
people want to vote for him,
No,
but he just keeps talking.
No,
about
it's like the girl. It's like the nice girl next door dating the asshole boyfriend. Who it's like, there's no reason for them to be together, but for some reason he's gonna change. He's gonna pivot. Oh, he remembered my birthday. He made a small. Look at him. He's trying to be a politician now, and then he immediately goes back to his old ways. And then we just keep complaining and keep going.
There's no personal story here behind it. Because we all knew that you were living in
Never
the
gonna
projects,
change.
huh?
He is what he is. He's been what he is now for 30 years.
Oh, it's good stuff, guys.
30
It's good
years.
stuff. Well, I'd like to thank our listeners here. This is the Greg
I like this song.
and Craig Show. I'm your host, Alec Taliano, trying to lead us through this discussion here about the VP debates. Good discussion so far. Very substantive discussion. We cover a lot of stuff.
Anything? Alec has a show also on here.
Yes, I
For
do.
those viewers that live in our more general area.
I should plug it right here.
Yeah, I think it's a good
And,
time.
it's called the
Tupac.
Alec Italiano Show. It's pretty.
We're gonna
Pretty
get on your
simple.
show. We're gonna start talking about some of the local
Yeah.
candidates and things, so
Yeah.
people know how.
Yeah,
to
and that's
vote
what I
on
like.
the ticket.
My show will talk more about how this region in particular.
We're hitting the
views
news from every angle.
Each candidate and how. And Pennsylvania is really important in the election this year.
Hell
So,
yeah.
Much more important than I think in years past. And we talked about that in Alec Italiano Show episode 1. So go to our website, editorialreview.us. That's editorialreview.us. And give a listen. Give us
And
some
feedback. Topics you guys want to hear about.
Write to us. Maybe we'll get you on the show one of these days.
Email me at craigryan@usa.com.
Craig likes the trash talk.
Craig, yes, he does.
If you want to get on a good online fight where you don't have to put your face to something, but you can say whatever you want.
I'll bring you up on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I'll trash talk your emails.
A lot of news shows now, especially like the Saturday, Sunday ones, are doing that. Where like the host will read their tweets at the end of the show and like trash talk them. Like Bill O'Reilly reading his emails, like, "Oh, Bill, you're a liar. Well, you're incorrect for this reason." Ha ha ha. It's like, I'm glad they got to respond to. But hey, if you want to be featured on the show here, go ahead.
Got a little scrappy. plan
If your
for you right
email's
now.
good enough, we'll get your number and we'll.
Controversial
Bring it on.
enough, hey.
You can call in. We have that capability.
Yeah.
You can call in. All right, so I'd like to end this show here talking a little bit about the upcoming town hall, some predictions that we might have on it. A little bit of a different dynamic than your standard debate. I don't know if that's going to either be an advantage or disadvantage for either Trump or Clinton. But, Trump, this could be a setup for him to have another macho meltdown.
Machado meltdown. He's reading the screen. He took the bait. Another instance where Hillary intentionally brings up something irrelevant, just waiting for him to get over aggressive with it.
Right.
Like when she brought up Machado, it had absolutely nothing to do with the question being asked. It was like she waited till the end just to drop it, and he could have just skated by it, but he had to bite.
Had to bite.
And I don't know, in a town hall, it's an entirely different dynamic.
Hillary's going fishing here.
Going fishing.
And CNN's doing it, right?
CNN, I believe, is co-hosting with ABC.
Okay.
Anderson Cooper and I don't know the name of the ABC.
Anderson
anchor.
Cooper's going to be one of ours.
Anderson Cooper would be the CNN representation.
I mean, I think he used to be a great journalist. I don't know how good of a user.
In a town hall, ideally, all the moderator's supposed to do is time check, because the people ask the questions. This isn't going to be the moderator asking the questions, which is going to be interesting. Right. I'm curious to hear, in Trump's previous town hall, he didn't talk to the person who asked him the question. He turns to Hannity and then tells Hannity his response. But he doesn't talk. You're traditionally supposed to respond directly to the veteran, the audience member.
Today on talk radio, that's what a lot of the callers were calling and talking about, is how they want to see Trump actually talk to the people.
Every day.
Not
in a pep rally formation where it's like, yo, there's my black. Woo, woo, woo. Woo,
there's my boy up there.
There's my black. Look at him. He's awesome. I can't even believe he said that.
My black
I can't believe he said that. I just don't know what could possess someone. Oh, my God. Yeah.
You got to love it.
Then you got Don King. So now I'll save my Don King rant for another show.
It's probably a good idea. My opinion is I think Hillary's going to actually really struggle in this style, this
on
setup.
What do you think she's going to struggle with?
Well, I just think Trump is just good in the fray, and Hillary's more of this like preparation nerd, and like she's just going to be out of her element here a little bit in the town hall. And like I said about CNN, they've failed my expectations since their inception. So when they screw up during this debate, I'm just not going to be surprised, I guess. Because here's the thing, is what the moderators do is they end up not only embarrassing themselves, but they end up embarrassing the candidates as well. And let's say CNN does have a biasism toward Hillary Clinton. Craig, I'm sure you would agree with that.
For her?
The Clinton News Network?
CNN, the Clinton News Network. Yeah, that CNN's biased toward Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
definitely.
When they screw up and they make both candidates look foolish, it's going to make Hillary look more foolish and it's going to look Trump.
The one thing I'll say about CNN, though, is Greg hears this from me a lot, because CNN's where I typically, my main news network, they're very obvious when they're being biased. So it's very easy to pick that out.
It is.
From them. They're terrible at hiding it. So
both sides, as soon as they start commenting on how fair and balanced or how unbiased they are, it usually means they're about to do something very biased. Right. And it's usually code word for, we know this appears that way. But let me tell you, we're just about the truth.
Well,
it's just a fact.
And if we're going to go on a CNN little sidebar rant,
I don't hate CNN. Once again, I sympathize with the media. I feel like they are abused.
But see, you're right, though. The minute they said
they
we're going to
do anything right,
they deserve it.
They're going to say Fox is on the right, MSNBC's on the left, CNN, we're right down the middle. The minute that you say you're right down the middle is the minute that you're not right down the middle, just like you said. I mean, it's like you're setting yourself up to
as soon as you start saying, let me be honest with you.
If you're down the middle,
what does that mean? You weren't being honest with me before?
Yeah. What is down the middle? I mean, just ask good questions. That's all I want out of my journalist.
In this particular election, you would almost be bizarre. If you were down the middle, if you were legitimately independent, 50-50 Trump, 50-50 Clinton,
you wouldn't be putting opinions on anything.
I don't know what your opinion could be on anything.
You would just be factually reporting the news, which is very boring. Just reporting what they're saying. That's down the middle.
Best thing you can do is get a strong person to argue one side and a strong person to the other, and let them duke it out, and then let America hear both sides and make your choice. That's why each channel has their one. They got their token Democrat, their token Republican on every panel that'll sit up there and take the beating.
Well, now we see panels of like 9 people.
12 people. I've seen 6 on one side, 6 on the other with Tapper in the middle. What are you going to do for an hour? That is an insane amount of people.
I mean, there's 3 of us talking for an hour, and I feel like that's already a lot.
A lot of talk over. It just ends with a lot of talk over.
And the other thing is, you're not going to sway. I mean, you got staunch minds going against staunch minds. So what are you really going to get out of it at the end of the day? It's not a substantive argument.
You're not going to change anybody's views or anything, but the listener or the viewer can agree with a specific point here and there, and they can make a decision.
You're right, but
the conversation itself is just back and forth pointing out.
It's just the whole dynamic of media that has changed. Before, it was like a big deal to get a newspaper endorsement. Obviously, that's not a big deal anymore because not everybody reads the newspapers, and so they're going to have less sway.
Getting a lot of those.
Yeah, I read an article that like Hillary Clinton, like if this debate was decided over newspaper endorsements, Clinton would be like ahead.
The topic I had for you, Alec, was 0 out of the 50 major media papers to have Trump has not gotten one endorsement.
No, not one endorsement. That's what I'm saying. Not
the media.
Not one. I saw that article.
The media is not even pretending to be down the middle right now. They're they're basically saying they have to stop Trump at all costs.
Yeah,
And the ones who
and
don't
back-
want to endorse Hillary are endorsing Johnson.
Right.
Or say vote write-in. I believe USA Today said we're not saying vote Hillary.
Which
We're saying vote
Hey,
third party.
there was
Which I'll tell you,
Write-in
I'm the
or
same-
stay
I'm
home.
voting third party. If Johnson probably isn't going to win, but if Hillary,
I will
Clinton
if
gets
I
the-
believe Craig is honestly going to do so.
Hillary-
If I believe Craig is really gonna vote for Gary, I will vote for Gary too.
In a cliche, this is what happened in the lunchroom conversation with me today. That's what we talked about, the write-in campaign. And it's like, and
Johnson's
that way,
not a write-in though. He's gonna.
No,
you're
no.
gonna see him on
it
the
was
screen.
it was
Well,
to be
when you
fair,
walk into to cast your
will.
vote, people, he will be on
it
the
was
screen.
it was third party candidate or write-in, and it was like, if you're really that unhappy with both sides, that's what you can do. You can still vote. You can do that. And then my ultimate point, which I just love to get people on, because nobody understands the Electoral College, is not only is it like state by state, which a lot of people get that part, but they don't understand the local breakdown of it. So you have local precincts that are have their own number that then attribute to a county electoral college number that then goes toward the state. So it's not even exactly which county you live in. You could live in a red
And
precinct.
Your
and your vote
electoral
wouldn't
votes
count.
don't have to vote
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
The way your county votes,
the way
they
your
can
county
go
votes.
rogue.
They
That was a
can go
concern
the-
going
right.
to the RNC.
Right.
Was if Ted Cruz is keeping it close enough, how many could the big shots in the party come in and say, I know my constituency said they like him.
And
I'm
this is
giving it to
definitely
Cruz either way.
this is definitely a conversation for another show, because we're coming up here on our
We
last
are.
3.5 minutes.
I have predictions.
But,
are we going to have
does your
a
vote
reference
matter?
to the affairs in this debate? It's not an outright
Craig?
reference. Are we going to have Trump accuse Hillary of abusing the women
You
that
think
Bill
Trump's gonna
Clinton
do it?
Do you think he's going to bring it up?
I think he's. I think he'll bring it up, but I think he may have a creative way of doing it.
If it's the last way, that was a pretty.
See,
Well,
I
don't
think you
there
leave
is
it
a
alone.
creative way of
I
doing
think
it.
you leave it alone.
I don't see where you
If it's
gain.
me,
I
I
don't
leave
see
it
there's any gain in it. But time out. I'll play devil's advocate. There is some. I think that you have some people that despise Hillary. That I'm talking when you listen to some people like on Fox.
But we all already know. Everybody knows.
But
that
to
he cheated.
watch-
he admitted it.
What-
I mean, he admitted it.
I know, but I think there were people that hate Trump. Someone like a Meghan McCain, who can't like Trump because of what he said about her dad.
Right.
Like it just doesn't work.
Right.
But at the same time, she is such a despise for Hillary. She wants to see her gutted in public. She wants to see these affairs brought in front of her. She wants to see her potentially break down.
We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, if she breaks
Strategy.
down,
All right, Greg, let me
I
ask you
wanna make-
this.
Oh, good.
Odds of a WikiLeaks email drop.
I think
Trump
that-
or the tax leak?
I think we are gonna have a WikiLeaks drop before the
Well,
Saturday.
he actually, because of Hillary saying, why can't we just drone him? He decided not to go with it, which Hillary may
He's
not
saying
remember
that.
that. Remember,
He's
with
saying
all of her
that.
health
It was a-
issues, she may not remember actually saying that, which she claimed.
I'm sure, even if she did, I don't care. I have
But,
no respect for Julian Assange. I don't like him.
Yeah.
If Hillary made a sarcastic comment like that,
For who?
clearly we can't drone strike an American embassy.
Who? Julian Assange?
Julian Assange, the
But-
guy who's in charge of WikiLeaks.
Oh,
The guy
that-
who
yeah, that's
wanted
one
to come
who-
out in the balcony or whatever.
He does these shady
But what
internet,
I
like,
want to make a
anonymous
plea
videos.
to all of our listeners to not be afraid to vote third party for Johnson, because honestly, if you are a Republican and you're worried about losing to Hillary, how bad is it to let the Democrats take a hit for their own policies for once?
I was about to say, yeah,
Just let her-
from the opposite.
We may
angle.
run the table in 4 years if we just let her win. Don't vote for her,
if you-
but don't be afraid to vote for the third party candidate.
Your vote doesn't matter. It's
a good way to end the show, Craig.
If you don't believe in it, your vote is irrelevant if it's not something that you can back. If it's not something that 2 weeks after the election that you're willing to support, that's an embarrassing vote. So if you're right now only voting for your candidate because you're scared the other one's going to be apocalyptic, at least tell the polls you're voting Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
Right.
At least let's get the numbers up so we know how many people are
Or write in,
uncomfortable.
if you really
Honestly,
want
with
to.
these. Well, yeah, but the only way we're going to be able to get a true census is if everyone just agrees to pick this name as their none of the above.
Yeah.
If you don't like Hillary and you don't like Donald, one of them is appalling. I understand election day you're going to vote for who you feel you have to vote for. But at least say now, to get Johnson on the debate stage, if you don't want to be held accountable for
Same
your
on
vote.
election day. Don't be afraid to go
I-
third party.
I think
Don't
that
be
too.
afraid to let the Democrats
But we're
take a hit for their own
A lot's
cause.
going to happen
Lots
in
gonna
this
happen,
meantime. We're going to
and,
like a lot.
we'll
We
see.
have
We got a
we have
month.
a
We
got
30,
month to
30
go.
plus days.
I want to thank all of our listeners here. This is the Craig and Greg show. I think it's a great show. I'd like to, obviously thank both people, Craig and Greg. I'm your host, Alec, and editorialreview.us is where you're going to find both of the
Have we
Craig and
picked out
Greg
a
show
set
episodes.
time? Or are we kind of just doing this?
Trying to do it for the
when
weekends.
we can?
Right now, we're just basically
Right now we have the
hitting,
Alec Italiano show on there too, so
relevant
please
news.
please give a listen and
We might have a show for this weekend.
run in.
We're going to see what happens over this next couple